There's something about winter or snow levels that feel especially cozy to me. I live someplace that doesn't get any snow, like at all. So I've never had the real nostalgia of going out during a snow day to play and have fun, apart from the 2 trips with family friends to Lake Tahoe in the winter when I was a teenager. So I get my winter enjoyment in other places, like media, particularly video games. Most of the time when I play a game that has an ice level, I have the inverse reaction to those gaming YouTubers of yesteryear that hated ice levels with a burning passion. I see winter or snow levels with the same kind of mild curiosity that Dr. Manhattan would regard, say, a butter churn or a PSP. That is to say, I look forward to the winter or snow level in a game, and since it's currently Chet's Watch Winter 2023, I'll look at a few of my favorites, or at least some I find particularly notable. Firstly, let's start with the one that I experienced recently, what I'm calling the Colorado Rockies section of Death Stranding. I'm not entirely sure where it is in relation to the actual US, since the version provided in Death Stranding is like 1/1000th the size of the actual continental United States. But whatever, it's a big snowy mountain in what looks like probably Colorado. Now, I've famously complained a lot in the streams about how I hope to never go back there because of how difficult it was to traverse, but in reality, I was kinda just kidding, you guys. In retrospect, I think I was a little too hard on it because I had to actually try in the game, and a part of my gamer brain didn't like the idea of having to use tools to traverse, since I got around fine with my reverse strike. But now I had to use climbing anchors and zip lines? Well, that's just entirely reasonable and makes the experience 10 times more fun. I've gotta say, I've spent a lot of my time overlooking just how much of a godsend the climbing anchor is, and my biggest regret in Death Stranding streams, apart from bungling the final boss, was not using the climbing anchors more. As for the zip lines, sure, it seems odd to talk about how much I retroactively liked the Colorado Rockies section and also bring mention to a tool that allows me to skip massive chunks of them, but you gotta understand, okay? There's something overwhelmingly satisfying in seeing it start to snow, knowing that there are BTs around, and taking a zip line to completely bypass an impossible encounter while biting your thumb at them. But the real magic of this place is just how actually quiet it is, like a snowy place. All you hear is the crunch of the snow, Sam's grunting and heavy breathing, and the occasional wind howl. It's so peaceful you'd never think you're several meters away from a horrible ghost trying to eat you and cause a void out. Also, calling this place quiet and peaceful is kind of redundant since a lot of the game is like that, but it's different when you're many miles above sea level. Anyway, this section is all a ruse for me to say I love Death Stranding, and if you ever get the chance to play it to see what all the hubbub is, give it an hour. If you're not entirely enthralled by the story and gameplay loop working the way they do, it's not for you. And now for something a little different, a short diatribe. This is about Bon Wonderland from Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. There's not much to say about this place since it's just a fighting game stage, but it's still got a lot of personality and charm to it. While you've got Asura from Asura's Wrath beating down Gambit and snapping in Iceman in the foreground, in the background and off to the sides, you've got various servbots hanging out, having fun, and just enjoying the snow day that their bosses, the Bond family, probably don't give them very often. It's just a nice little image to see. It's just a nice little backdrop to the heavily modded Marvel vs. Capcom beatdown that's happening. Now for something a little meatier once again. The Bathhouse from Here Comes Nico. Set in a large Japanese-inspired bathhouse, this stage feels altogether cozy, warm, inviting, fun, and playful. Like other locations in Here Comes Nico, there are plenty of characters to meet and activities to do, such as meeting your climbing rival again, reunite a gay couple after one gets lost, playing another ball game, and so much more. Something worth noting here is the call you get before approaching the bathhouse. You regularly get a voicemail or phone call to check before entering a new area from the three most significant people in Nico's life: their abusive mother, their apologetic and understanding father, and their best friend Sarah, who was the one calling them to check to see if they're okay. But this time, before approaching the bathhouse, Nico calls her instead of the other way around. The first time she calls them, she remarks about how things have been boring since they ran from home, but this time around, they call her just to talk. It speaks to the fact that despite Nico leaving their old life behind so they could flourish and thrive in their own way, there's a part of them that remembers the people who made a positive impact on their life, and even after leaving them behind, they don't want to forget them. It definitely sets the tone for how mellow and chill the bathhouse is in comparison to, say, the public pool or Salmon Creek, which are mellow in their own regard. There's very little in the other games that feel this nice and sweet. Plus, also, even though it doesn't serve any purpose, you can just hang out in one of the hot springs, or maybe even just a little tub, and it's nice. And now, once again, for something completely different. Snow Mountain in Lisa is a stark contrast from everything before and TBH, the thing after as well. It's near the end of the game when you have to find tools to help you build your boat and go to the final area, but this place feels unnatural. Like you'd expect some place like a derelict neighborhood full of mutants, or even some plateaus owned by a Native American tribe you have to, in-universe, wipe from existence, but this, it feels off. Not to mention you're met by football players doing suicide attacks, men hiding in snowmen, and a warlord who played college ball, but not at some cushy Ivy League school, mind you. And if that wasn't bad enough, you have a ludicrously scary and tough Joy Mutant fight when you go up against... There's a reason this place feels so uncanny and surreal, but I'll let you guys discover it, because it's quite the surprise. And finally, we come to the final section, and to no one's surprise, Cheez is talking about Mega Man 8. And why shouldn't I? It's probably the formative game for me. Everything I love about video games comes from this. Easy to pick up and play, incredible music, masterful sprite art and animation, fun voice acting, challenging but easy to get the hang of, proper iconic and not Ubisoft iconic, and it's got plenty of memes. People totally know about the jump slide thing from Frostman stage, and while it's always funny to see it, y'all just gotta get good. But the thing I want to talk about is the atmosphere of this place and how the music 100% fits this place. The acid jazz sounding music fits right at home in this stage that's apparently set in futuristic Canada, specifically some city in Yukon. Where this stage really comes to life is at night, where the music does way less heavy lifting as you see the lights of the various buildings change colors simultaneously, and it makes the place actually feel alive, including this giant light up sign that shows a little map on it. When I think of a good snow or winter level, this is the first one that comes to mind. It's fun, it's energetic, yet it feels right at home and so very nostalgic to me. It feels like home to me, even if it's someplace so far away and foreign from me in the real world. It's someplace I'd want to visit, even if it means traveling during the 8th or 14th official Wily Robot invasion, depending on if you count the handheld games, Mega Man and Base, and the Wily Wars as part of the main timeline. Bottom line, I love Frostman stage, and I always look forward to starting a new playthrough with that stage first. Anyway, thank you for watching this video I suddenly put out with very little prep time. Happy holidays and see you around.